Fernando,
We can wait till 101.
okay. I'll begin when I see you share your screen.
Okay. Better rip tater chip.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ron Verhage, President of Seriously Smart Technologies, and the webinar today that is regarding our Q9 and stress management system and using it for the support and improvement of stress associated with diabetes. Now, if you are new to stress management biofeedback, let me give you a brief description of what it is and how it works. Our stress management systems operate in a gentle and a simple way. The client is connected to a biofeedback device via electrode bands that are placed around the wrists, the ankles, and the forehead. The device is connected to a laptop, and through the software, it sends approximately 11,000 frequencies into the body. The software analyzes the body's feedback and then displays the results on the screen so that we can determine the potential causes of the client's stress. Then we work to retrain the body's stress response using those 11,000 frequencies. I'd like to mention that stress management biofeedback does not diagnose, treat, cure, or heal. We do not assess, and we do not prescribe. We strictly detect stress, and we work to reduce that stress. So let's begin this discussion today about diabetes and how we can support and improve the wellness of our clients with our Q9 and S8 stress management system. I would like to introduce you to a biofeedback diplomate, our resident trainer here at SST, Fernando Crespo O'Neill. Take it away, Fernando.
Well, thank you, Ron, and welcome everybody to this public marketing webinar to go over some information for supporting the wellness related to stress and diabetes. So one of the things we're going to be doing is kind of going through some information first before we go into the panels that are available for support. So you'll kind of understand why I brought up the certain panels that I brought up. So let's talk about diabetes. It is a chronic condition where the body either doesn't produce enough insulin or can't effectively use the insulin it produces. Insulin is a hormone that regulates blood sugar or glucose levels by allowing glucose to enter cells for energy. High blood sugar or hyperglycemia can damage organs and tissues over time. There are three main types of diabetes: type 1, type 2, and now the newest one is type 3, and then there's also gestational diabetes. Diabetes mellitus refers to a group of diseases that affect how the body uses blood sugar or glucose. Glucose is an important source of energy for the cells that make up the muscles and tissues. It's also the brain's main source of fuel. The main cause of diabetes varies by type, but no matter what type of diabetes you have, it can lead to excess sugar in the blood. Too much sugar in the blood can lead to serious health problems. Also, chronic diabetes conditions such as type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes, potentially reversible diabetes conditions includes pre-diabetes and gestational diabetes. Prediabetes happens when the blood sugar levels are higher than normal. When the blood sugar levels aren't high enough to be called diabetes, and prediabetes can lead to diabetes unless steps are taken to prevent it. Gestational diabetes happens during pregnancy, but it may go away after the baby is born. Additionally, the pancreas plays a crucial role in diabetes. It produces insulin, a hormone that regulates blood sugar levels. In diabetes, the pancreas either doesn't produce enough insulin or the body can't properly use the insulin it produces, leading to high blood sugar. This can manifest as type 1, type 2, or type 3C diabetes, each with different underlying causes related to the pancreas. Okay, so we just went over kind of a lot of information as what is diabetes, things that it's affecting in the body, and as well as the pancreas, a very interesting part of the body and how it supports and plays a role in that. Now, one thing as practitioners is we also want to be able to give our clients homework. So right now here in North America, we're in summer, and this is one of those handouts that you can give a client that is maybe dealing with wellness issues tied to diabetes when it's hot, and 7 tips for managing diabetes in summer. This was a handout that I found to be pretty interesting. You're welcome to find ones that benefit your local area as well. So what panels can we get into the software so for supporting our clients? Well, number one, we can go right into the main matrix and use the search function. We may choose to search for the word diabet, so diabet. Shortening it sometimes brings up greater amounts of results there on the left. You can also search diabetes, or in the case here, as you can see, I did a search for diabetic, and it brought us some results. You can also do a search for pancreas, pancreatitis, different choices with the pancreas. While here in the matrix and having these results, we can open up what's called the information box by clicking on the information pull down, and we can drag and drop into the information box there right in the middle, different choices that we like there in the main matrix. And then we could do a zap 3 minutes, as many times as it takes until it balances out and retrains. Additionally, we can also, with that same search, if there was something in that list that we found really appropriate to our client, we could drag and drop that over into the yellow box and then work with the list of compounds, or what I call the compound list, right above it. And so many practitioners love the standard process products. So we could do a search against standard process. And then right here, you may get about 4 standard process products that ties to the wellness choice that you dragged over into the yellow box. And then some practitioners actually choose to stock and sell standard process. And you could go ahead and have your client leave with the one that needed the most, that was the most beneficial, or perhaps all 4. Or maybe you recommend that they go to a local health food store that you work with and they can purchase those products. There are other choices there in the compound list, but I just wanted to at least use that in this example. What else can we do? You can also go up to EPR enhancements and click simulate reaction, duplicate remedy. And you have permission in that white box over there on the left to invert and restore what is needed for your client's wellness. A couple of examples that you see typed in there are invert diabetes and then restore normal insulin function. And then we can go ahead and work on correction and balancing with our client. Now, staying here in the main matrix, we can also go up to EPR enhancement, go down further down and click on patient superconscious reduction panel. This panel is actually really neat, and it creates a unique report tied to your client at that moment. So over there in the left side, we can just type in diabetes and click the start link, and it'll give us a report. This entire pinkish lavender box is a report, and we can click treat all as it goes through here. But as a practitioner, it gives us a lot of good information that of what's causing our clients stress as related to diabetes. We can go ahead and give them some homework based upon what we see there. And then down here in the bottom, we see even more of a text as in the report, as well as perhaps some products that we could recommend to them. It's a very cool panel. Now, leaving the main matrix, we can go over to biofeedback systemic relaxation, or I like to call it BSR. And in this panel, right under the additional pull down, we can actually support the pancreas here. So just we don't want to forget, different panels, we can go ahead and support the pancreas as we saw how it ties in with supporting diabetes wellness. Now, leaving BSR, we can go to Disease Dictionary. And in Disease Dictionary, there's absolutely a ton of diabetes related choices there in the left column. And then we can go ahead and support, see which one is appropriate for our client. And then in the right box there, you can see different additional zaps from other trainings that we've offered where there's been additional custom zaps that that people have paid for from that training, like this Regeniplex pancreas support. We've also got an insulin and pancreas support one, a pancreatitis support one. So we've got different zaps, so many that are in the disease dictionary panel that can support the client's wellness. Okay, moving away from disease dictionary, we can go over to the nutrition panel. The nutrition panel is kind of neat because over there on the left, where it says insert disease, you can type in diabetes and then do test disease, click this button, and it'll give you nutritional results unique to your client and supporting their nutritional wellness as related to the stress caused by diabetes. So the nutritional panel can be really helpful as well. Leaving the nutrition panel, we can go over to short SAR codes, and there under Ear Plus, etc., we can actually choose to support specifically the pancreas. And so that's another great panel that we can support our clients. Okay, now we're going to get some exciting places as we leave short SAR codes and go to timed therapies. And in time therapies, down there in the bottom middle, you can see there's actually a choice for working on blood sugar disorders. Interestingly, at my training events, when I bring up blood sugar disorders, nearly every hand goes up that each practitioner will say nearly all of their clients are dealing with blood sugar disorder issues and related wellness issues. I know here in the United States, people are just so addicted to energy drinks and different soft drinks and other drinks that can affect people's blood sugar levels. So by clicking on the blood sugar disorder, we can support that with our clients. But you might be wondering, why is there a humongous question mark there in the middle? Well, when you do click on blood sugar disorders, a hidden button will turn on called Treat Diabetes. Now, all of these buttons are hidden, so they're advanced, and advanced training is recommended to any practitioner that wants to use these. So when you click Treat Diabetes, additional hidden buttons will turn on. And one of the ones that I have found to be beneficial with some of my clients is the insulin quality stimulation. There's been some interesting research proving that some people are having wellness related issues with their blood sugar because of the lack of good quality of the insulin their body's making. So we can actually support that in this panel. Then when you click on mental cause, another hidden button will turn on, which is the diabetes virus destruct. Now, it doesn't actually turn on for all of our clients. However, but these are all different choices that we can use with supporting each of our clients, depending on what type and how their diabetes wellness issues are affecting them. That's why we kind of talked about that in the beginning about the different types of diabetes. Now, interestingly, when we do click on mental cause, a PDF document will open up and it looks like this. This is just a snippet from there, mental causation. So there could be perhaps a mental causation for diabetes. So as we look here under probable cause, we see deep sense of sorrow and no sweetness to life. And then the new thought or a positive kind of affirmation that we can give to our clients as homework for support of this would be, I allow life to be fun. I let the past be just that. And then I accept joy and fun as the basis of my life. So this might be just a nice piece of encouraging homework that we give our clients. Now, leaving our biofeedback software, there's also an additional program that we as practitioners can own, called the class portal. And with the class portal, inside one of the modules in there, the basic program, we have many choices that have carried over from the biofeedback systemic relaxation panel and disease dictionary that are now loaded in here. So we can see in the left box, stress caused blood sugar disorder. We can support that in here. And then here in the right box, we see all of those different diabetes choices. So for some practitioners, they purchased the additional program class portal, and this is just me letting you know, go ahead and use it. Others may have received it as part of the promotion when they purchased their device, and they still don't use it, so I'm letting you know about that now. And then others, if it's something that you think you would want to add to your business, you can go onto our website to see more information about it. But those are the panels throughout our program for diabetes wellness support and pancreas wellness support. Now, what are some other things that we can also recommend to our clients? At SST, we have additional products like a patch, the bioenergy patch, specifically called blood sugar. And those come in a sleeve of 10 for a really affordable price, and that can support our clients in between sessions. There on the right, our pancreas does need to be detoxed, and ionic foot spas have been found to be an effective way to detox the body. There's also additional training. Well, now we at SST have been teaching diabetes related support for a long time. And then here in the middle, you see diabetes support. This is from one of our free weekly webinars back in December, where I was kind of going over some examples of different clients I was working on and what helped one client one way and what didn't help another client in another way. So that's there for all of our practitioners to take advantage of for free. And as well as if you'd like to learn more about our systems, our devices, you can go to seriouslysmarttechnologies.com/devices.
Well, in addition to finding more information about our stress management systems, we have a new section on our website that can assist you in finding a nearby practitioner. The website address is seriouslysmarttechnologies.com/members. And to view what online training is available, you can visit seriouslysmarttechnologies.com/online-training. And to check our events calendar to find out when our next events are, please visit seriouslysmarttechnologies.com/public-events. Now, that was terrific information regarding supporting stress with diabetes with our stress management systems, Fernando. Thank you very much. I really appreciated a lot of extra points that you brought out there. We'd be happy to assist any of you with any additional questions you might have regarding stress management biofeedback. Our email address is info@sstoffice.com, or you can contact us by telephone at 989-321-2800. And once again, thank you for joining us today. We hope you have an amazing day. So now, if anyone has any additional questions, you can type them into the chat section. Please do so now, and I'm going to get started. There's already a couple of comments in there, Fernando. So the first one that I saw seems to be a pretty common question for us. So Fernando, when the buttons say treat, when we say biofeedback doesn't treat, why is that?
Well, that's a good question. Now, at the beginning, when Ron was kind of going through what our device is, we as practitioners, we get to use a Class 2A medical device. And in most countries, the devices are being utilized by medical professionals. And so those medical professionals are allowed to use the word treat. However, here in the United States, you actually don't have to be a medical professional to own one of these devices. So, since we're not a medical professional, we shouldn't use the word treat, even though the buttons do say treat on them.
Okay, so the next question then, with the foot spa, or you called it the ionic foot spa, what color would the water be when detoxing diabetes or the pancreas?
Oh, huh. That's a really good question. No one's ever asked me that before. Hold on a second. I actually have a handy dandy cheat sheet here at my desk
Yeah.
for my clients to look at. Let me see if
Now,
it actually.
I do want to make a comment though while you're looking at that. For those of you who have been to our webinars, the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 webinars, it seems like Fernando almost always has that comment about the ionic foot spa being helpful for detoxing. And one of my comments is I find stress management biofeedback and ionic foot spas to be a very complementary pair of devices to use. The ionic foot spa helps with so many different things. So, and I've used it myself for many years. Go ahead, Fernando.
Yeah, on the color cheat sheet, there's nothing here referencing pancreatic support or blood sugar. So yeah, that's a great question, but yeah, there's nothing to show that. Just there's so many colors, as Ron and I both know, since we've been using foot spas for so long, that
Yeah, and just to make a comment, Fernando has the color sheet, but and I have seen in my experiences that sometimes I've seen those exact colors and seen the exact thing that the color states on that sheet is so true. But there's also a lot of other things that we see using the foot spa that we really don't have a determination of what it actually means. But we do see benefits and results. So
right.
yeah, fantastic. Okay, next question was, can you speak more about diabetes type 3? That's a new one on me. So and true, for many years we've seen diabetes 1 and 2, but you mentioned 2 additional things.
Yeah, type 3 diabetes is now being it's a new way of referring to Alzheimer's, especially Alzheimer's that's linked to insulin resistance and insulin dysfunction. So yeah, very interesting.
And okay, I'm going to save the other question for last, but I'm going to move on to this one. If one is on medication, including insulin, will the foot spa pull out the medications and the insulin that is needed?
So that's really cool with the foot spas is that nothing gets sucked out of the body.
Right.
Our blood circulates around our body every 7 minutes, and all what happens is the foot spa that module in the water is filling the water with negative ions, and plus the water is pretty warm, not hot, but it's warm, and the feet each have a 2,000 sweat pores on the bottom, which open up bigger because of the negative ions being introduced into the water, and all we're doing is sweating into the water.
Yeah.
So that's all that's happening is just we're
Yeah.
sweating into the water very effectively for 40 minutes. I even just did my own foot spa last night, and it was gloriously disgusting.
And one of the things I've said for, I don't know, 15 years is that what the foot spa does is it creates an environment for our feet to sweat. So a simple explanation, it creates the environment for our feet to sweat. Our feet sweat anyway, but it creates uh it's basically the perfect conditions, so to speak, for your feet to drop what the body doesn't want. So your brain actually makes the decision as to what is being released. Okay, so the next question, would the bubbles in the foot spa be the result of the detoxing?
The bubbles that are in the foot spa are usually tied to lymphatic type issues. So sometimes when we've why would we have a lot of extra lymph in our blood? Is, maybe we just got over some kind of an infection. There's so many kinds of infections right now. I know right here in Michigan, uh, we're we've had a whole summer of wildfire smoke coming in from Canada, which a lot of people are dealing with respiratory infections because of that. So that can be a reason why we have bubbles in the water in the foot spa.
Yeah, and just as a secondary comment, some of the bubbles are from the breakdown in the water. But we did an experiment many years ago where we had 6 people, uh, all the same water, all the same equipment and everything. I think it was 6 people, and each of the conditions in the water was different. The only thing different that we introduced to the water was the people's feet. So some of them had more bubbles than others, and there can be different reasons for that. So, okay, so the final question that I have seen in the chat was this one. Do you have any personal experiences with supporting diabetics that you can share with us?
Absolutely. And in that example I showed in the PowerPoint back in December, I was kind of giving an example of a couple of my clients, specifically with using the insulin quality button. One of my clients, she just turned 90, and by using the insulin quality improvement on her, tied with doing a seriously smart session, that's how one of our trainings that's available on our website, and that's how I do a session start to finish, 6 days a week as a practitioner. And so I had done the insulin quality with her, and within within one session, she saw some dramatic improvement in the using less insulin. And then after we did it, we had did it 3 times total, and she had some great improvement. Now, at the same time, I had that client was 90 years old. I had another client that had just turned 80 years old, and kind of the same issues, and did the same thing with her, and her blood sugar actually had a dramatic spike. So that button wasn't beneficial for her. So like you guys saw in there, there's many different choices of things to work on in supporting that diabetes related wellness. So with each person, results may vary, and it can also be what type they have of diabetes, and how we need to approach it. But isn't it awesome, as you saw in the different panels, we have so many ways of supporting our clients, because we're not sure what, each client's gonna be walking in the door with a
Right.
different medical diagnosis from their medical professional.
Right. And I'm glad to hear you say it the way you said it, Fernando, because yeah, we see varying results. Even though we may have one fantastic result with one person in one session, not everybody's going to have that scenario. And some people don't benefit from stress reduction, methods. So, but we do find that we do see a lot of results, and some of our practitioners throughout the country have made different comments to that effect as well. So I don't see any additional questions. So thank you for your questions. And Fernando, thank you again for sharing all of that detail and putting all the effort into preparing for this webinar today. So thank you. We hope to see everyone here for our next event. Please enjoy the rest of your day.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.